Today, we're going to be talking about mindfulness and why people who practice that are the most productive high performers, usually in the workplace. So, mindfulness has become very popular in the last couple of years. They teach it in school, they talk a lot about being mindful, usually with regards to handling stress and fear and anxiety and that type of thing. But we're going to talk about mindfulness as it relates in the workplace, why it is so important to be mindful. The reason why we look for people who are mindful is because we need people who are able to really focus on the task at hand and be calm and handle things under stress, be completely engaged. So many people come into the workplace with emotional baggage from the week before, the night before, that morning. And so oftentimes when they come in and they still carry this emotional baggage, it prevents them from being able to focus on what they need to do for that day or what they need to care for, whatever the responsibility is. You probably have had coworkers or maybe classmates come in and they talk about, oh, the traffic was horrible, someone cut me off, or something happened at home, I got into an argument. And they're so upset, so frustrated that they really don't get any work done. Or maybe you have that coworker or again classmate that is constantly the whole day talking about how so and so did me wrong and they did this and they did that. So they're so caught up with a situation and feeling so much emotion that they are not able to perform at a high level. So people who are mindful are able to take control of their thoughts and therefore their emotions. Thoughts and emotions go hand in hand, right? If you think one thing, it can cause you to feel one thing. And then if you feel a certain emotion, that can cause you to have additional thoughts. For example, you might hear in the news on your way to work that they're laying off. A lot of tech companies are laying off employees. There's 4,000 employees that are laid off in the last month in the tech field. So you get to the workplace, and now you're in a state of fear, and now you start to think, well, I'm probably next, so why even try that hard? See how that fear caused you to think something else? So thoughts, emotions, thoughts, emotions. If you don't get it under control, that can impact the way you perform in the workplace or at school. So really, the bottom line is being mindful means being able to control your thoughts and your emotions and be present with whatever task you're dealing with at the time. And so the way you're able to accomplish this is, first of all, you need to be aware. You need to be aware of what you're feeling and why. What you're feeling and why. Because once you know what you're feeling, frustration, fear, sadness, and you understand why, then you can say, okay, I need to deal with this later. I need to find a solution, but I can deal with it later. You kind of wrap up all the loose ends. You know what you're feeling, you know why, you can find a solution and deal with it later. So that's the first step. To be present, know what you're feeling, kind of understand why, and then you can go ahead and put that aside. And then once you've done that, we want you to see if you've learned anything about yourself that you might be able to adjust. Suppose you're in a meeting at work and you're discussing solutions for a problem, and you give an option. Here's my solution, I think we should do this. And after a while, they discuss all the different solutions and they decide to go with another solution, not yours. So now, what are you feeling? Maybe you're feeling fine. Maybe you're feeling a little embarrassed. Maybe you're sad. Maybe you're angry. Now you have to ask yourself why and what did you learn about yourself? Well, if you're a little bit irritated, a little angry, it could be that maybe you're a little proud. You're the one who's always getting straight A's in school. You always took the lead in projects. And so that built up your pride. So now in the workplace, when something like that happens, you feel a little bit angry, a little upset because maybe you have to work on your pride. So you've learned from that. Or perhaps if you're sad that they didn't take your suggestion, it could be that maybe you have to build up your self-esteem. Maybe you feel that, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm never good enough, and that situation just reinforced that feeling. So again, being mindful, what are you feeling? Why? And we focus on that why part through metacognition so we can make any adjustments so it doesn't happen in the future, if that makes sense. Step number two, or point number two, is to not be judgmental. Whenever you're noticing what you're feeling and why, sometimes people beat themselves up. I really shouldn't be feeling this way. I feel bad that I'm feeling this way. So whenever you kind of take an assessment of your emotional state, don't judge, just notice and accept it. That's part of being mindful. There are some more ways that you can develop mindfulness, and they're in our Mind Sage lesson. The link is in the comments below. But we do want to talk about one more thing as it relates to mindfulness in the workplace. And that is with regards to staying present, so we're focused, so we're able to calmly handle what's in front of us. We want to make sure that we're not looking to the past or to the future. A lot of times people will be in the present moment, but their thoughts and their mind keep on wanting to drift back to the past, which cannot be changed, or drift to the future, which for the most part cannot be completely controlled. And this prevents them from focusing all their energy on what they can do now to have the best outcome. So again, perhaps in the workplace, someone says, hey, we'd really like you to handle this new project. Go ahead and stay there. What's the project? Find out what it's all about. What does it entail? Are there things you're going to have to learn? Are there people you're going to have to talk to? As opposed to saying, oh, the last time they gave me this project, this happened and that happened. It didn't turn out good, so I don't want to do it. And be in that state of fear where you're like, oh, no, I think it's better that Marianne does it, or whatever the case may be. So stay in the present. Don't think about the past. Don't let that past impact you. Or when they ask you to handle a project, you might be thinking too far ahead in the future. What if I fail? What if I don't do this? Will that mean that it's going to make me a candidate for layoffs? Does that mean I'm not going to be able to be used for other projects? Should I wait for another time to take on a project that I know I can complete? See, when we start thinking too much about the future and what might happen, what could happen, that prevents us from being in the present. So again, when we talk about mindfulness in general, it's about really understanding what you're feeling, why you're feeling that, being able to address that, to calm the mind, calm anxiety, calm stress. Is it really so important? Is it really that big of a deal? And in general, that's a very good thing. But in the workplace, we especially need it because we need people who can push aside whatever the stress is, not worry about the past that we cannot change or the future that we cannot completely control, and focus on, here's the problem at hand, how can I contribute? Let's work on this, let's focus on that. And when people are able to do that, they become top performers, extremely valuable in the workplace. So here's the metacognitive exercise for this video. Over the next week, try to notice how many times you can catch yourself in an emotional state, whether it's fear or sadness or frustration or anger, whatever it is. When you're in an emotional state, stop, write it down in your phone or in a journal. I am currently irritated and it's because X, Y, and Z. Then if you can, write down a little bit about what that tells you about yourself. I'm irritated that my brother borrowed my whatever without asking. Do you learn anything about yourself? Is there anything perhaps that you can work on? Patience, being more generous. So notice an emotional state, write it down. And then at the end of the week, take stock of how many emotional states you noticed and what you learned about yourself from them. So that's one thing we'd like you to do. Secondly, we'd like you to also notice how often you're able to notice when your mind is drifting, when your thoughts are drifting, when you start daydreaming. And every time that happens to you, mark it down in your phone or in your journal. And then at the end of the week, take a look at how many times you caught yourself drifting. When you're talking to someone, your mind drifts. Try to see how many times your mind drifts or your thoughts drift, because that's an indication, again, of you not being able to stay present in a conversation or in a situation. Try those things out and see what you learn about yourself. And if you care to, leave a comment. I hope hope this was helpful. If it was, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.